All right, Joey, for the last couple of years, we've created a business. And I would even say a very successful business, but there's things that we are more interested in than just money.
Yeah. I mean, what does money do for you? It's always just a tool. In our case, it's to get more time. For me, more time with my family and investing in my girls. For you, it's more time to think and to create.
Well, and if we're always trading time for money. So in order for us to feel good of being able to take that next leap, the natural next step for us was, okay, well, I need X dollars. I need 5,000, I need 10,000, I need 20,000 a month coming in. If I get that, then I can feel the pressure relief of having to go to work all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And I think what that did is, unfortunately, we got focused in on some of the wrong things, right? We started down the path of long-term rentals, which if you've listened to our podcast for any length of time, you know we have struggled and never made any money in that space. Syndications, well, those haven't worked out so well for us. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but it didn't really work too well.
Well, then we did the Ethereum miners, right? We thought, oh, this is our place for growth and for cash flow is all going to come out of this crypto space. And I think, Joey, the struggle with that is not that anybody can't be successful in those, but for us, it didn't match up with who we were. Like our investor DNA is to understand something and then let our ingenuity create something and improve upon something.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And so I think what we've learned over this whole time frame is that there's a process that we start with ground zero, and we know we get really clear on what we're looking for and where we're gifted. There's no ceiling on what we could do.
Well, and I think when you know why you're going in the direction, even though we knew we wanted more of our time, it only got more clear when you had that fifth baby, right? When you can see her face and see what she's going through. And the same thing with me, when I get to see that my daughter is now driving a car, we know time is happening fast. And the key to all of this is not the item, it's not the short-term rental, long-term rentals, it's not the land flipping business, it's not the other types of e-commerce businesses that we're in. Those are just vehicles. Is how are we focusing and following a process and a plan so that we get more of that time back?
All right. So Russ, we've kept people waiting long enough. They've asked for this passive income update for the month of September of 2020. Let's go ahead and give it to them. By the way, we had a 30% increase. Let's jump in.
Welcome to the Wealth Without Wall Street podcast, your guide to understanding how to get out of the Wall Street rat race and start your own mailbox money lifestyle. Now, don't let these handsome Southern draws fool you. These financial minds are teaching our country to enhance savings, increase cash flow, and create passive income, all without the help of Wall Street. Are you ready to break through? Now here are your hosts, Russ Morgan and Joey Murray.
Welcome. This is the Wealth Without Wall Street podcast. Your host, Joey, the Italian Stallion Murray, joined as always by Russ, the Idea Guy Morgan. So Russ, I am excited to dive into our September 2020 passive income report. This has quickly become one of the favorite and most downloaded podcasts that we do every single month because, why do you think that is, by the way?
I think they want to see, are we actually getting closer to the goals that we've set out for ourselves? I think people love kind of hearing what other people are doing, maybe looking for some insight that could help them accomplish the same goals. And I sometimes even laugh at some of our antics that have happened throughout the month.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think people love a good train wreck and they want to see it. But at the same time, I think, again, we kind of led off with this, but it's all in the context of, are we seeking freedom? And are we on the same path that we're telling others to do?
All right. So, Joey, you mentioned that. I want to put that in light of what is it that you're trying to do? Why is creating passive income important to you?
Man, I got to tell you, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger every day for me because we just had our fifth baby, little girl. Obviously, that's all we do is girls. And she's 19 months already. I mean, it seems like we literally clicked our heels together and she's already almost, talking and she's babbling a lot right now. But anyways, I see her and it's just like, man, I need to be maximizing this time. She's our caboose and there's not any more behind her. So how do I make the most of this time? And then I look at my oldest, she's 14, and you and I are actually talking right now. We've got to do this to get our oldest daughters together to do a study on Robert Kiyosaki and cash flow and doing a book study. And because I have so little time to teach her the things that we already know, and I want to transfer that knowledge. So mine is all about time, and it's about investment and impact in my family.
Well, I know where the 19-year-old gets the babbling from.
She's 19 months old.
That's what I say. 19 years.
19 years. Come on.
I meant months. I know where mine get their hard-headedness from and their sarcastic attitudes.
That's right.
Well, I do think that it's good. So, Joey, what does it take? How do you get time back? What does that look like for you?
Well, for me, it's twofold. And we kind of came clear into this like in the last 24 months. We started with our business, right? We said our business cannot be a bigger tax on our time. It's got to become more and more passive. We have to start removing ourselves from the things that take the most time. And slowly but surely, with the help of a consultant, Justin Harris, as you know, we were able to build certain systems and things like that we have received more of our time. And then that brought us our second tier, which brought into, okay, now we got to start implementing these passive income ideas that we've been interviewing. We learned some things along the way that were, hey, this was not the right path for us because of our own personality types, because of the lack of knowledge and education. And so then we moved into these things that we're actually going to report on today that are a lot more in line with who we are and creating the passive income that we need.
Well, you said that there's certain things that we tried in the past that didn't work. That, and I want let's talk about that to start off with, because they're still actually in this report.
Right.
There are our cattle business.
That's right.
That we created, which has been super passive for us because we literally have done nothing. But the other day we were coming back from playing golf, and I thought about that. I was like, man, that business, we invested, I don't know, maybe $15,000 a piece, not tons of money,
right,
but it's still money, right? And I think when I think $15,000 today, I think being able to outfit one short-term rental.
That's right.
And I think of that short-term rental provides $800 in cash net after paying all the expenses into our pocket. And I think about the $15,000 we put in that cattle business, and it nets nothing. It's
That's
not
right.
giving us any cash flow.
That's right.
And while early on it was fun to talk about, early on it's fun to go to the auctions, it's just not something we're focused on, and I'm not excited about it. And I called one of our partners and said, who has been the more active, involved person, and said, hey, I think we need to wind this thing down.
Yeah. And I think that comes from clarity, right? Us realizing that cash flow was way more important than this is really more of a hobby. So how do we get more of that and quit trading our money for things that don't create cash flow?
Well, I think about the same thing with, syndications. There's a lot of times people love different types of syndications, which if you don't know what that means, is when you pull money together and somebody's running an investment for you, typically like an apartment complex or a
Right.
mobile home park or storage building facility. Well, I just like to get involved, and in a syndication, I can't get involved. There's no way for me even to add value from a conversation standpoint. It's literally you just get a statement. Well, lately my statement is saying zero revenue because it's still not producing a positive result, and so we're still accruing the payments right now.
All right. So syndication's got a goose egg. Iron City Cattle's got a goose egg. Now, one thing that I feel like that we were doing long-term rentals, we weren't really seeing a whole lot of benefit from. In fact, my condo that I've owned for like 17 years now, almost, I guess it's been 16. It was literally, I was able to rent it for like $950 a month. And it was maybe making me like $50 to $100 a month. Well, now I rent that condo to wakeupinbirmingham.com, our short-term rental business.
Which, by the way, you're still not renting it to us for a whole lot of money, which I like that. I know you kind of upped the price. So I think you're netting about $124 a month on us. But here's the thing, and I've had long-term rentals and I've sold them since then. Why is it that we don't make a lot of money and haven't made a lot of money in our long-term rental experiences?
Well, first of all, I didn't buy it right. I didn't buy it as an investment home. I bought it to live in. And it was just our primary residence for about 18 to 24 months. And so then I was just like, well, I can't really sell it right now. It was right around 2007, 2008. It wasn't growing in value enough. And I was like, well, I guess I just rent it. And at that point, you're really on the backside. You didn't make a decision as an investment. You're just trying to make it work.
Well, I think you were emotionally involved.
That's right.
I think that's the problem. Whenever we're buying things, we get so excited about buying it, we lose the opportunity for deals. Objectivity comes when all you're looking for is the deal. You're not emotionally attached to what you're buying, because what you really want is the result. And that result ends up with more time. And I think that it's important.
That's a good point.
As we start looking at some of the report that we have, just that unit, though, you made a bad mistake. I mean, you've made plenty of bad mistakes. Some of the clothes you picked out, your haircut, I would say that there's a few things. You made a good choice. You have a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, great business partner. But you took that example of the condo that you've not made hardly any money in, and we use that as the first unit in our short-term rental business called Wake Up in Birmingham. Now, we have since added 4 more units in the month of September, getting ready to add 11 more. But in
seven more. 7 more.
I'm sorry. In that one unit, though, let's talk about how much money did we bring in the month of September just on that 2-bedroom condo?
Man, it was huge. We made $3,301 on just that one unit.
Instead of
that wasn't net, that was gross.
Well, instead of renting it for $950.
Exactly.
So that's stupid. I mean, it really is dumb when you consider that you were able to rent that thing for like 3.5 times.
It's crazy
what you had been renting it for.
Yeah, and so for that reason, I'm excited. Now, there is a downside. It's in a condo complex. It's in a condo complex full of owners who don't necessarily love the idea that we rent this out on a short-term basis.
Well, you say, and so here's a problem, right? Is the lady above us? We've kind of talked about Mrs. Kravitz before. She got angry. She sent out an email to basically everybody and is trying to get us run out of the place. But what we found out is that we had somebody that's been in there for 2 or 3 weeks, and she had some young kids, and the young kids were like running down the middle hallway, like banging stuff on the wall, which was then traveling all the way up. And we were getting complaints from everybody. So we had to fix the noise ordinance, which, by the way, Joey, I thought we had these things inside each unit that would tell us if somebody was being too loud.
Yeah, like if the decibels go above a certain amount, we're supposed to get an alert.
Right.
Unfortunately, our operator Clint told us that this did not work out. They had actually, something went wrong. They needed to be updated, and so they weren't picking up the sound, and therefore he wasn't getting any alerts. So thus the reason she called the association and tried to hit us with a fine.
Well, and so I think that's a problem. But I will say that obviously we fixed that now. But I do think that people don't even know that exists. Don't even realize that you can have these noise-aware instruments inside your units where you can set it for times of day.
Yep.
And I know our operator Clint sets it to where it's just, it allows for a lot more noise, if you will, during the just daylight hours, because things are happening. You're talking on phones, TVs are on, all this
People
stuff.
are moving around.
But then from the hours of like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., it has a much lower threshold, and that's what he set. So now going forward, we're going to be alerted. But let's talk about, we added 3 other units in the month of September to our portfolio, went to another apartment complex not too far away, got a good deal. They're in a brand new, renovated, just like your condo was. So as a whole, for the month of September, let's talk about gross revenue. What were we at?
Yeah, we made $11,790.69.
That's on 4
on 4 units.
4 units. That is so dumb. And these aren't like these are like 1 and 2 bedrooms.
That's right.
Now we had expenses for rent, for the insurance, for the noise aware stuff, for the cable, for the internet, all these things.
Utilities, yeah.
That was $7,613. So net, we had $4,176 that came in from those short-term rentals. That's pretty awesome, man.
That's a huge increase month over month. And with us, like as you mentioned, coming soon, we've got 7 more units coming on board. And so I can only imagine what that's going to look like going forward. It's pretty exciting.
Well, when we started the process of going, I just remember I was driving home from somewhere. I was in Montgomery on the way home, and I remember sitting outside of, I don't even remember the restaurant right now, sitting outside with me, you, and Clint talking about this idea, talking about what it would look like if he was helping us operate these units and what our goals were. Our goals was to get up to 15 units. And you and I knew in order to get him to come on board, we needed to help give him a salary that was going to pay his basic expenses and then give him an upside from the business. And Joey, that first unit was pretty heavy. We were in the red, having to pay him. But with the month of September having those extra 4 units, we actually got in the black, man. After paying him, which we know we were spreading his salary on 1 unit. Now we're spreading on 4. We're getting ready to spread it on 11, and this story is going to get much, much brighter. But I just thought that was super cool to see how that happened.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go into the land flipping business. That's one. Okay. I got a call today. Somebody said, "Hey, I heard you guys talk about this Everland thing," which, by the way, we may use names of our businesses. Outside of Wake Up in Birmingham, you can forget all the rest of them. It doesn't really matter. Wake Up in Birmingham, you can remember, because when you travel to Birmingham, I hope you'll look up that and see if you can't stay in one of our units. And by the way, if you'll put podcast, if you go in there and you are traveling to Birmingham and you put podcast in the discount code, there's a little discount there for you, and it'll alert us, and we'll make sure there's something special in the room specifically from the Wealth Without Wall Street team. All right, Joey, let's talk about the land flipping business. We have 2 different land flipping businesses. One we refer to as TriStar, and the other one as Everland. The one is done for you. One is in office, Tracy working in.
Right. So Tracy runs our TriStar business, and in this month of September, we actually did some expansion. Right. So we actually hired a virtual assistant that helps write ad copy for Facebook ads and other places, and then another virtual assistant who posts those ads and then follows them up. So if you can imagine, if you post something on Facebook Marketplace like land for the terms and the things that we're talking about, you get inundated with messages. And so to be able to hand that off to a virtual assistant is a way to scale your business. Obviously, that comes with some expense. And so in the month of September, and we also increased our mailings. So there was a double whammy, so to speak, on some expenses. So we went from, we had $728 of income, but we also had $1,298 of expenses. So we went backwards the month of September, hopefully to start expanding.
Well, let's talk about some lessons. What are we learning in that business?
Well, I would say that sometimes you have to take a step back to take a step forward. Secondly, I think it is about scale. And so you have to start building in these things. Otherwise, people get burned out. I mean, there's been times when Tracy comes in and she's like, I spent all weekend working on this one thing, and there's some frustration there.
Well, I think one of the things I'm learning in that specific space, because obviously Tracy's main job is not to be running our land flipping business. Her job is to take care of you and I, which is a big project, a big project.
No doubt.
And she helps out in so many different other places, and it's so awesome that it's hard to do this business super part-time. I'm going to say it's like, I feel like there's some people that can be successful in that, and we've heard some stories, but I think you just have to have the right profiles. What we're finding, at least what I think, is that the months when we have less going on in our lives, she has more time. We see more uptick. last month in September, we were working nonstop. There were so many things that we were expanding. We're expanding the offerings. People, you've come to us and said, "Hey, I need you guys to help me reach my goals. I need more hand holding. Is there an offer when I sell a business? I can come to you guys and you guys can connect me with all the people that you guys are working with personally, both from tax and passive income and all these things." And so we've been working to do that. And I think we saw that happen, that we really didn't have the sales inside our TriStar business because we weren't as focused on it. But on the flip side, in our done for you model, where we are partnered with the team of people who are doing it for us, who are working 100% in the business, that's their focus. They're like ninjas in there, if you will. We saw an uptick in our revenue there, Joey.
Yeah, if you compare it to the month of August versus September of 2020, so September we had $3,682, and in August it was $3,430. So we really only went up a couple $100 in terms of our part of that business. As you know, the done for you model is where we're a joint venture with them. And so we own 70% of that business, and that's our portion that we're reporting.
Well, and here, why is it only $200? You say only $200, but what happened is that we had sold all the land in the month of August. And so we actually were waiting for a big property to buy. And we bought like 40 something pieces of property, but it didn't happen until middle to late of September.
That's right.
And that is, I mean, we've got a lot of exciting things to share in the month of October on that business, but it is, there's times like, I think there's ebbs and flows, right? Whenever you're buying and selling the way that we're doing, we had to get capital in. That took a little bit of time. Once we got the capital, we had to wait to find the property. We bought the property in big chunks because we're buying in big chunks and through this group, then deploying it. So
that's a good point.
But it is on the path, Joey. This is like one of those things that I see that I have no doubt over the next 1 to 3 years, that 3,600 is going to be 16,000. It's going to be 25,000.
Right.
And I know that we're on that path, that trajectory. I'm just following it. It is there. So that, I think that's pretty cool. That's a pretty neat little thing.
Yeah. Let's jump down to our Ethereum miners.
What is an Ethereum miner?
I knew you were going to put me on the spot again. So Ethereum is a cryptocurrency. And what we have done is we've purchased these computers that operate a function for Ethereum. And they're doing what? What are you laughing about?
Oh man, that was great. That really was. You had to teach a conference on this.
Not a chance. They operate a function that allows them to do these calculations, basically, and those calculations are then credited or awarded like a portion of an Ethereum coin. That Ethereum coin is worth US dollars when you can trade it, sell it, whatever you want to do. We've not sold any yet. We've continued to allow it to just compile. Up until about 6 months ago, we didn't have anything to report because it was losing money. Just the cost to operate these computers was outpacing how much money it was actually earning. But good news is September was actually a pretty good month.
Well, so you're right. These are, in my mind, little bitty rental houses.
That's right.
And there is some maintenance that's keeping the computer parts running, and sometimes little things break. It's also keeping them cooled and also paying for the power bill, which is fairly expensive, about $134 per month per machine. But in the month, we have 12 machines. In the month of September, we brought in $328 worth of those coins per machine.
So $3,947 across all 12.
Yeah, so we made almost a $200 profit per machine. And of course, like we're kind of looking at this. This is one of those super speculative assets, not speculative. Sorry, I need my spectacles to see your spreadsheet, but it is very speculative, and we're not expanding this area. I just think that there's some need for these types of assets because they are a hedge against the dollar, which potentially could go away, and that maybe it's subject for another day. But also there's a way for cash flow in these, and that's really what I see is how do we get to the point of cash flow. So I want to ask you the question, Joe. You said we have not sold any yet. What's your vision for this? Do you see us selling any of this?
I'm of the mindset, and maybe I'm a little bit maybe more conservative than most. I would say that once I receive enough cash in this of Ethereum that it is worth enough to pay me back for my initial investment and the lost money from all the cost of maintaining these, then I will sell and then allow them to continue to run from there. So that, I mean, again, I'm not in this. I've never been one that is just like, hey man, I'm gonna roll the dice and make all this money on this huge increase, like casino type stuff. So I just want to get my initial investment back and then allow them to essentially pay for themselves.
Well, do you see this like our Iron City cattle? Do you feel like this is a wasted thing and we need to get our money out and go would it be better if we deployed this money into short-term rental or back into the land flipping business, something that's having more success?
I would do that with the original investment once I get that back. But I think this is one of those things, especially if the cost of Ethereum continues to rise, that it would pay for itself and it would just be an automatic thing. So there's elements of it that I like, but it's so volatile. I don't want to put a lot of stock into it. No pun intended.
Well, I wonder, like, I just right now as we're talking, I just wonder, like, would it be better if we just can this thing and move on? Because I know the Iron City cattle deal is never going up, but this is something that it's hard. And you say the price is going up, so the end of September's price was $360 per one coin. And we've seen it kind of bounce all over. It's been in the mid 300s for a while. And if it went back to 700 or 800 when what it was when we first bought these machines, you got your money back
immediately
right off the bat.
Yeah.
My concern would be is that if it does that, do you really sell it? Or do you go, wow, what if it goes to 1,500?
Well, that's the allure. That's the allure that I don't like playing that game.
Well, I'm hopeful that we do get to that, and I will be with you. I will cash it out, and I will then let the machines go, and I will make you this as a listener this promise, and you hold me to it. As when I cash out from that point forward, every single month, it is a cash flow machine. I'm going to take out what it made and put it in our pocket toward our passive income because I'm tired of playing the speculative game. Be honest with you.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so let's talk really quickly about the community. As you know, if you've been part of Wealth Without Wall Street for any amount of time, you are in our community, so you know the types of things that we have in there, the different groups that you can pay for to be a part of, like our inner circle. We are about to launch some of our courses for pay, and also some of our coaching. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But in the month of September, we actually made $3,244.76. We do have an expense. Every year we have to pay for that app, and we've broken that up into monthly payments, even though we typically pay annually. So our expenses were $2,884. So we really only made $360.76.
It's a labor of love.
But that's a big increase from the month before because we actually went.
We were negative.
We were negative. So I mean, hey. Things are looking up. That's great.
They're going up. They're not just looking up. They're going up. Yeah, we had about a 600 increase over the previous month. I like that, and I do agree with what you said a second ago. I think it's worth talking about it now. Is that there is, and we've decided that you are seeking freedom like we have been, and you're looking for more of your time, and you're looking to help actually get that last mile, like take action on steps. So we've created a couple of things for you to be able to take action on. But here's one. We built out, Joey, an amazing course, Financial Freedom 101. And we're in the process of updating Financial Freedom 101.
That's right.
And enhancing it. It needs it. It's been 6-7 months since we updated it. The information in it is still amazing, though. It's got the debt course, got the automated budget course, got IBC 101. But we're about to even make it better. And one of the things that I know is that we all need help. We all need accountability. We need to be able to follow a process and a plan to see the results that we want. And so Joey and I are about to launch the Financial Freedom course that you can be a part of. You can be one of the freedom seekers. And if you'll go to wealthwithoutwallstreet.com/freedom seekers, you can take action on that and be part of the first couple of groups, which we're going to offer. By the way, this is limited time type stuff. Like, I don't know when you're listening to this podcast, listening to a year from now, you're still going to be able to go there and get access. But the type of deals that exist are only going to exist for the next couple of weeks, because we want these first couple of groups who go through this to give us feedback and to help us improve upon it. And through that, not only you're going to get some amazing content and some one-on-one coaching a part of it, but also you're going to be a part of helping the Financial Freedom Group and other financial freedom seekers across the nation see how they too can have more of their time back. So definitely go check that out. All right, Joey, one last thing I want to talk about. We've started working in the e-commerce business. You bought this platform called 100unicorns.com. Tell us what happened in the month of September.
Man, I got to tell you, I'm learning lessons. Okay. And that's usually code for not making money. In the month of September, we netted out $246.11 on the products that we sold. That means
how many things can you sell for $246?
Man, unfortunately, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it's kind of sad. Like, the more I look at it, I think, man, this margin is pretty thin. And on top of that, because I don't have a ton of time to invest here, I feel the need to have assistance. So I've got a virtual assistant who helps me run the day-to-day, any customer service, emails, any fulfilling of orders, things of that nature. But I've subsequently had to tap our buddy Gabe to help me with some logistics. So as we have been requesting samples from products that we're having made white labeled just for the 100 Unicorns brand.
Like what?
So I've got some duvet covers. So people love duvet covers for their little kids' beds, like twin beds. You got the cover, the pillowcase, and it's got these vibrant colors and crazy unicorn poses and things like this. I just got these samples in from India, and man, it is soft, it's well done, and they're going to now be creating. I have to order 100 of each of these to put onto an Amazon store. So this is like the next phase to be able to go into distributing faster and more efficiently. Instead of drop shipping from China, now I'll be able to fulfill it by Amazon.
So are you going to limit the number of items that you have, like just by this, or are you going to just use these items on Amazon and still have the full bevy of unicorn paraphernalia on your drop ship?
I can assure you, all you 100 Unicorns fans will not be limited by whatever products that you want. But no, the way this works is if someone goes on to my Shopify store and they pick one of the products that is available through the Fulfilled by Amazon arm, they'll be able to just get that product within a few days, as opposed to waiting, let's say, 3 weeks for the drop ship. But if you go on Amazon and you order it, you will only have options to order those specific products that are available to be fulfilled by Amazon.
Do you get it at Amazon at a cheaper rate?
No, it's going to be the same costs.
My wife's going to be so disappointed. She loves walking into a store, figuring out what the price is, going on Amazon, and then buying it and walking out. Like, the people at the shoe stores have gotten hip to her, man.
Oh yeah.
They'll literally, they'll like try to like guilt trip you with like signs that says, you know, your local workers depend on you buying from us and not from Amazon.
Ooh.
Like, please don't make us have your kids try on shoes and buy them on Amazon. I think they got a picture of Megan's face next to it.
No, we're going to charge the same amount. We're just going to be able to fulfill it easier and more efficiently. And then slowly but surely, we're going to try to track what are those best sellers and continue to just build inventory for those items.
It sounds like you need to do some better marketing, man. You don't have a whole lot of sellers.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's the biggest part of September's loss is I had $1,500 in Google Ads cost, and I really don't know what I'm doing. I've even asked for some help, and those folks that I've asked, it's really difficult to find the right people that know the formula to help you grow an e-commerce business. So I'm in the search right now, and I've started interviewing some of those folks so that I can invest and simply start increasing sales.
If you know anything about e-commerce, if you are a marketing guru and have had success, type Joey an email, joey@wealthwithoutwallstreet.com, and put in the subject line unicorns.
Yes.
He needs your help, as well as we prepare for Black Friday next month in November, and we get in toward Christmas. If you want to get your unicorns, what I heard Joey said, it's going to take 3 weeks to get here from China, so you better order quickly. Get those in. Let us know that you bought them, and we'll add something special to the order. How about that?
Yes, that is a great idea.
All right. See, marketing 101 right here, bro. All right. So let's wrap this up. We really appreciate you listening to us ramble about the fun things that we're doing. This is obviously a passion project for us that's super important. We want you to see what we're doing and also seeing, are we getting closer to our goals? So as we sit here and we look at the numbers for the month of September, we see that we brought in a total of, what is it? What's the numbers, Joey?
Total net of everything is $4,408.33. And that is actually an increase from last month of $1,018, which is technically 30% increase month over month.
That's
huge.
That's super cool. We brought in $24,704 in revenue and had $20,000 of expenses. So once we keep getting that revenue number going up, which in all of these columns, for the most part, we see income on the rise. Our expenses, a lot of these things had some fixed costs that we really just had to absorb in the startup phase, which is where we've been over the last 3 to 4 months. But we're now starting to rise out of that startup phase more into that growth and expansion. So I think we'll see that $4,408 net continue to go up, 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 and away, just like my Atlanta Braves hopefully will be doing tonight on the way up. So thank you for listening to the podcast. Have an amazing day.
This has been the Wealth Without Wall Street podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show to break free of the Wall Street mindset and begin building wealth on your own terms in places you understand, so that your wealth will never run dry. See you next episode.